What is going on, guys, and welcome back to some more XDefiant. So for today, I'm going to cover all the tips I've learned after getting 10,000 kills with the assault rifles in XDefiant. In this video, I'm going to cover everything from how to position yourself, what to look for when creating a class, which of these assault rifles are the best, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright, and in the background, we have an insane game where I managed to drop 64 kills in a team deathmatch game, with the M4 too, and that'll segue us nice into the fact that, in my opinion, the M4 is probably the worst out of the 5 assault rifles in the XDefiant. Not saying that the gun is bad at all, obviously. We dropped 64 kills with it. It's pretty damn good. But that's just to say that the assault rifles in XDefiant are really good to say the least. Obviously, the M4, it is really solid. On a tier list, I'd probably put it in A tier, maybe top of B. But overall, the AK, ACR, LVAOC, even the MDR, these guns are something else. I spoke about the last time I made a video like this where I covered the SMGs, and I mentioned that the assault rifles in XDefiant I believe were the ultimate meta, and I still do believe that. Especially when it comes to ranked, ACRs, AKs, they're running wild. Those guns are something else. Obviously, you'll still see some MP7s, some Vectors, maybe some other SMGs in there, but only on certain maps, whereas assault rifles, you can use them in any situation, on any map. As you can see in this game, we're really just running it down. I'm not really holding angles. I'm not letting people come to me too often. I'm really just getting in there, playing like I have an SMG in my hands, and you can do that with some builds. Obviously, this build was made for that. I put some more movement speed on it, poured some more ADS speed on it, so it was able to do that. But with the ACR, AK, they can still do that. Obviously, 1v1ing a good MP7 at close range, you'll probably lose that fight still, but not to say that against a bad player, missing some shots, you're still gonna absolutely fry. The assault rifles in XDefiant, they are a serious problem, and in my opinion, they are the best weapons and class in XDefiant. If I were to order these from best to, well, least best, I would probably go ACR, AK, those being interchangeable, those are really just preference. Then, personally, I like the LVAOC, the MDR following close behind, just depending on the recoil pattern. If you can get that down, that gun, in my opinion, is a little bit better. Then right after that, we have the M16 and M4. Once again, those are really just preference. Like I said, these guns, they're still insane. The M16, the one burst potential to the head, it's pretty crazy getting those one bursts sometimes, but the M4, like you can see in this game, we're going to town. All the assault rifles, they are really solid. Alright, now I want to talk a little bit about positioning. So, as I said, I'm pretty much just running it down in this game, but as you can see, I know exactly where people are coming from, and I promise I'm not cheating, guys, but that does come with hours on the game, and that's the most important thing about this game. Especially in public matches, knowing where people are coming from, that is going to help you out a ton. Obviously, with SMGs, you gotta get a lot closer, you gotta close that distance to kill them, but with the assault rifles, you can really just sit back. As you can see, that last death, we were sitting on top of the plane, and that's a great position on this map. There's a ton of great positions that, especially with the assault rifles, you holding them down will be a power spot. All it takes is just a little bit of playtime, paying attention to where you're dying from, especially if it's repetitive. Playing those spots, it'll help you out a whole lot. Also, once custom games does come out, I do plan on making a video covering all the god spots on pretty much every map, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Another great positioning tip is making sure to always use cover when in a gunfight. XDefiant's done a great job adding little things all over the map that are literally just there for cover, and using these to your advantage would help you out a whole lot. Head glitches are also super solid, even more in this game than others, which is surprising considering that the headshot multiplier is pretty damn high in this game. But head glitches, especially over on Noodleplex, some other maps that I can't think of right now, those maps, they are insane with the head glitches, and using assault rifles on them, you're gonna have a whole lot of success. But like I said, the most important thing when it comes to positioning is really just knowing spawns. When it comes to that, the most important tip that I can give you verbally is just using your minimap. Wherever your teammates are is probably where the enemies are going to be, so using your minimap, reading that, using that to your advantage, that is super important. Other than that, it's really just going to be gameplay. You're going to learn over time, and honestly, paying attention to your own spawns, that'll help you out a whole lot too, as the spawns, they're pretty predictable. You spawn in the same spot a majority of the time. There's only a few different spots that you can spawn in, so once you learn these spawn points on every map, which sounds a lot more daunting than it actually is, you'll have a lot more success. I also like to commonly break down my thought process during games while I'm streaming, so make sure to check in on those, 3 PM Eastern Time, both Saturday and Sunday. I'll be playing the brand new Rockefeller map, which I cannot wait for. Alright, now let's talk about what you should be looking for when creating a class. Now, I've been praising it since day one, and you already know where I'm going with this if you see my video, but the lightweight stock, in my opinion, is the best stock in the game, and especially for assault rifles. The extra 20% to your stray speed is a huge deal, especially if you're a controller. If you know what recoil smoothing is, this will help you out a whole lot, making it so that basically every gun has no recoil. Especially with the increased stray speed, this will help you out a whole lot more. I've broken down what recoil smoothing is in one of my videos covering the MDR, so if you want, you can go check that out. But in the future, I'll also make a video covering some aiming tips, so that'll also be in there as well. Another great shout is the folded stock, as I think we're actually using it right now on this M4 class that you're seeing in the gameplay, and that, combined with the lightweight barrel, it's a great combo. Getting that extra 10% movement speed on these assault rifles, it's pretty insane. I wouldn't recommend this for a ranked match, but for public matches, you'll do just fine. These guys, as you can see, they fry. But overall, I like the lightweight stock, especially when it comes to ranked. Really, with any of the assault rifles, the lightweight stock helps out a whole lot. Being able to use it to strafe in and out of cover a lot quicker than your opponents, in my opinion, it makes it one of the best stocks, if not the best stock in the game. Alright, next, I want to talk about the chrome line barrel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chrome line barrel, useless, especially on the assault rifles, they already have a ton of range. But on certain guns, especially for the ACR, I believe that the chrome line barrel is very, very useful, especially on certain maps. Now, obviously, on certain maps, Arena, Echelon, even Showtime, you don't want to use the chrome line barrel. So feel free to take that off when you're on those games, but on other maps, especially like the one we're playing on now, on Mayday, Noodleplex, even Pueblito, and not to mention pretty much every single one of the maps where you play Escort or Zone Control on, besides maybe Midway. These maps have some long range engagements, and having that chrome line barrel can help you out a whole lot. Now looking at it, it says that it just increases your range, but when you actually break it down and look into the damage numbers, you'll get some noticeable time to kill increases. For example, when you put the chrome line barrel on the AK-47, your 5-shot kill potential is increased by 10 meters. And this might not sound like a lot, but when you actually look at the numbers, this increases it from 43 meters to 52. And having that 5-shot kill potential at 50 plus meters, it's a pretty big deal. And that's exactly why I think it is one of the best barrel attachments and one of the best attachments overall for assault rifles. Now, to compensate for the negatives to the movement speed and the ADS speed, some great trade-offs are the super light barrel, the lightweight stock, and the quick draw rear grip. These together almost completely negate the ADS speed and the movement speed, as well as give you a nice boost to your strafe speed. So these four attachments together, they are a really solid combination, and I definitely recommend them. And once again, these are map dependent. The assault rifles, like I said, they are super versatile. So even on Arena, Echelon, these super small maps, throw on a lightweight barrel, a folded stock, and go to town, because you still will be able to. I'm just saying, especially on these bigger maps, such as Times Square, all the zone control maps and escort maps, all those guys, they are super long range. Having the chrome line barrel, it'll help you out a whole lot. Alright, the last attachment I want to talk about is something that you can use, especially when you're not using the chrome line barrel. This being the small vert front rail. Now, in my opinion, this has been flying completely under the radar. This attachment is a great replacement for the leather wrap front rail or even the super light. What it does is give you a nice 10% increase to your strafe speed, which you know I love, and then another nice 5% to your ADS speed. And the only negatives are hip fire, and if you play this game, you know hip fire, it's really not that useful. So that attachment really doesn't have any downsides, and in my opinion, it is super solid. The only reason I wouldn't use it is if I have the chrome line barrel. In my opinion, I like having the super light instead. Alright though guys, that is pretty much everything I got when it comes to tips for assault rifles. If there's one thing you can take away from this video, it's that learning spawns is the most important thing to positioning, especially with the assault rifles. Knowing where people are coming from, holding down lanes, you'll have a ton of success. Alright, and other than that, keep an eye out for a video playing on the brand new map Rockefeller later today. And once again, stop by the streams 3 PM Eastern time both Saturday and Sunday. I'd love to see some of you guys there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!